When I was driving today, I actually passed through the, CBD. It's too much light here. I was actually, driving past the CBD, and I was just like, observing actually what happens in the town, like day to day. You can actually imagine right now what you actually face, what you actually, witness, you're on your day to day, your regular routines, etc. And I just saw quite a lot of young men out there, and it just made me think, I'm actually in the transition also, from turning to a boy, to a man, from being a boy to a man, right? But these are the things you need to expect, or you have to see or witness in order for you to have a smooth transition. I'm not saying it's going to be hard. Definitely it's going to be hard. But what's life without hardships? What's life without hardships? What's life without you learning from your mistakes, from your failures? That's the first thing you need to know. If you're going to turn into a man, you need to bold up. You need to actually stand firm, take full accountability of your actions. Taking accountable of your actions, right, will put you in many places, because you gain trust from people you actually, see on your day to day, right? And you would also hold accountable for your things, meaning to say, if you did something wrong, you're manning up to that. I'm just saying, if you're not, accountable for your actions, you might not as well consider yourself as a man, because, bro, whatever you do out there, whatever you're going to do out there, let me put it that way, most of the things, or 99.9% of the times, you might be wrong, bro. It's actually hot in here. So what am I saying, fellas? I'm saying you need to hold accountable for your actions. If you start holding yourself accountable of your actions, I'm telling you, fellas, not only will you benefit, but the people around you will start to see you as light. You made something, you made a mistake, or you did something wrong. Instead of you, trying to point fingers at people, saying you were the last one to use that thing, I did it. It wasn't my intentions. Ain't nothing wrong with saying sorry, fellas. Ain't nothing wrong with saying that. I think this whole concept, this whole thing has to be rewrought, Masculinity needs to be relearned or revised. But not wasting much of your time there. Actually, that's for another video. That's for another video, fellas. But the transition will actually not be smooth, as I said earlier, because you face some ups and downs. But once you have that mastery, fellas, I'm telling you, once you master yourself, bro, once you master yourself, the self-mastery of knowing that you've done this before, and these are the results that will come after doing this. Okay, I have to face these repercussions. Okay, I have to face this if I have to go this path. If you master that, I'm telling you, fellas, whatever you do on a daily basis, repeatedly, more consistent, being persistent actually in everything you do, bro, it's going to be super easy for you. It's going to be super easy. You don't know the outcome. And if you take this bad decision, this is what will come. So I want peace. I want peace with myself. So I'll actually take the peaceful route, because that's all I know. That's all I know. So yo, fellas, turning into a man might be hard. I get that, because I'm actually living it. But it's who you will become. Who will you become? That's what's important. You need to understand that. Who are you going to become? So if you know who you're trying to become, you have it in your mind so clear and so vivid, bro, you've cracked the code. I'm telling you, you've actually cracked the code, because you're no longer chasing, you're now attracting. You know the results of doing what you have to do, going that path, going that way. You know the results, you know what you're going to get. Bro, just turn dark. But all I'm saying is, once you understand yourself, it's going to be game over, bro. It's going to be game over, I'm telling you. I never knew that if I could follow my dream, follow my path, try to actually understand how I can go as far as I can go, actually. I didn't know if I can actually put my energy, my full energy, dedication, commitment to that, I was gonna get it. But I trusted the process. Then I started making these videos. I'm not talking about the blowing up part. I'm not talking about that. But what I'm saying is, I had to fight what was in my head, because a lot of things, a lot of weights tried to weigh me down. Who are you in your family? You can't be the first one to do these YouTube videos in your family. Nobody has done it in your family. Why you? Bro, I'm just trying to prove it's possible. I'm trying to break some generational curses here, fellas, so that my direct descendants, I'm talking of the few juniors behind me, they won't fear no more going behind the camera and start spitting out their creative imagination. Them tapping into their full potential and knowing everything is possible. It's going to be bumpy, but I'll get there. That's the whole thing. It's the journey and never the destination. A lot of fellas out there, they try to put it in, the destination, part type thing, It's always the destination. I need this, I need this, I need this, but what does it gain to profit the world and lose your soul? I'm not saying money is wrong, bro. We actually need money. I also need money, so that I can finance my other things. But what does it gain to profit the world and lose your soul? You die for the world so you can get famous, so that you can get fame, so that you can get validation from people, and losing your soul. You need to understand that it's going to be hard. You need to provide as a man. You need to protect as a man. So if you're not physically strong, how can you be mentally strong? If you're not mentally strong, how can you be physically strong? So I advocate healthy body, healthy mindset. But you need to ask yourself a genuine question. Who am I gravitating myself towards being? Who am I? Ask yourself that question. Where am I going? Why am I on earth? Have you ever actually asked yourself why you're on earth? Or your analogies, you're on earth so that you can wake up, go to work, eat, have fun, sleep, wake up, go. Is that a definition of why you're on earth? We say you're on earth because you need to push the word, the works of God. This is why we are on earth. Some of your fellas witness it every day. Your things are going well. Tomorrow you're not, tomorrow everything is down. Not saying there are no ups and downs, but that's where you need to connect more with God. But I get it. You want to connect with Him when you fall into some trouble, when it gets hard. I get it, but you need to also understand and know that he ain't sleeping. He ain't sleeping. He's wide awake. I'm telling you, man. Fellas, all I'm saying is it's going to be hard. But hard times create strong men. Weak men create soft times. So are you going to be in that category? Are you going to be in that phase where you always remain a boy and never transcend into being a man? So your fellas trying to disrupt my video, but they're getting there. So yo fellas, always believe you can, because believe me, you can. But you have to witness this. You have to see this as a man. That it's going to be hard, never going to be easy. Like, nobody's coming to save you. I'm not saying your parents are not going to save you. I'm not saying your brother and your sister is not coming to save you, bro. But you know what I mean. If I say nobody's coming to save you, because 99.9% of the time you'll be using this and let it work. Ain't nobody coming to think for you. Nobody's coming to think for you. Nobody's coming to think for you, bro. You think for yourself. So yo fellas, always keep the glow and always keep shining. And always know it's going to be bumpy, but you have to embrace the limbo stage.